guys, welcome back to Escape. If you don't know, my name is Rachel and I am your Saturdays here on this channel, and this week the theme is how to ... Now when I was thinking about what I'm gonna do for this video, I honestly had no idea for the longest time. I kind of put it off because I'm not good at that many things. So how am I supposed to teach you how to do something if I can't even do that many things? But then I was reading some of your old comments on some of my old videos, and you guys are like, whoa, you're Australian, that's so cool. And I was like, I might not be good at that many things, but like, I'm good at being Australian, I guess. I was born here and I grew up here and I'm still here now, so I guess I know some things about being Australian, right? So there are lots of different aspects to being Australian. There's the way you act, the way you speak, what you eat, what you wear, all of those sort of things. But today I thought I would just give you a little bit of insight into the Australian language. I will be teaching you some of the Australian slang that people use here in Australia. So here are some real Australian words, at least around me. Like, these are things that people around where I live say. I don't know if it's like the entire Australia, because that would be like generalizing things a bit, but I'll stop talking now and let's get into the actual video. So when I was talking on Skype with the girls in Escape, we were kind of talking about catchphrases and words and stuff we say in our language that our like countries that maybe that they don't say. And one of the words that came up that none of them knew what it meant was bogan. And do you know how hard it is explaining what a bogan is? So I'm really sorry if this is a really bad explanation, but it's a really hard thing to explain. Some people, I think, relate it to like a redneck or something, but it basically means someone who's just really like not fancy. I really don't know how to explain this, so I'll give you like an example. So like if you go to the shops or the grocery store, I don't know what other people call it, and you see someone there and they've got like no shoes on and they're just wearing like really daggy clothes and stuff, and you're just like, oh gee, they're a bogan. Or like some people talk in a way that's bogan like, so like, hey, how you going, how are ya, mate? I can't do this. Bogan is just like, it's not a good thing. Like the girls on Escape thought it was like a good thing because Tash and I were like, we sound so bogan compared to you, because we do. The Australian language is not cute. It's not like French. It's not like an English accent. It's not cute. It's not pretty. It's just like bogan. Bogan. But there you go, there's bogan for you. Number 2 is far out. I love saying far out. I say it all the time, but it's basically like when something happens and you're like surprised or something, you're like, oh, far out. Or like if something's really cool, you're like, far out. If someone just takes things a little bit too far and you're like, far out. Or like if someone is really annoying you, you're just like, oh my gosh, far out. You can basically use it in a lot of different contexts, but I use it a lot, but it's just kind of like, oh my goodness, far out. I think that's a good explanation. It's probably not. It probably makes no sense to you guys, but that's what it is. Number 3. Now this is something that isn't in every part of Australia, because I grew up in Victoria and we never use this word, but then when I moved up to Queensland, a lot of people use this word, and the word is togs. So this is just a word for like a bathing suit, a swimsuit, a bikini, whatever sort of clothes you use to go in the water. In Victoria, we called it bathers, but I remember when I first met my little stepbrother and little stepsister, we were talking and we were having a conversation, we're like, oh, let's just grab our bathers. And they're like, what are bathers? And I was like, you don't know what bathers are? And they're like, no. And so we go grab them and we're like, these are bathers. And they're like, those are togs. And we're like, what are you talking about? What are togs? So I don't know which parts of Australia use the word togs, but around where I live, you call your swimsuits your togs, or your swimmers, or your bikinis, or whatever you want to call it, but one of the words is togs. And I think it's a funny word, like togs. After you say it for a while, it just kind of becomes really weird, like togs, togs, togs. Like, how weird is that? Another phrase is calm your farm. I also don't know if this is like said in other countries or other parts of Australia even. It used to be a lot more common. People don't say it as much anymore. Maybe it was just one of those like phases or whatever, but everyone used to say like calm your farm, which basically just means like calm down, like don't get your knickers in a knot, which is another one. If you haven't heard that one, don't get your knickers in a knot. It basically just means like stop stressing out, calm down, stop worrying about it, just calm your farm. Another one, I know that Americans call them diapers. We don't call it a diaper. Like a baby's like little thing that it does its business in because it can't use the toilet because it's a baby. Good explanation, Rachel. We call it a nappy. Nappy. Not diaper. Nappy. Another one, we don't call them sweaters. I call sweaters the things like knitted jumpers, like knitted sweaters, but in general, they're called jumpers. Like a hoodie, a nudie, a sweater, a jacket, anything like that, it's a jumper. Another thing that I talked about with the girls on Skype was holiday. In America, I think you guys call the holidays like Christmas time, or like Easter is like a holiday, or like happy holidays. Like, that's not really a big thing here. Holiday for us us just means like a vacation or like school holidays. We don't call it like summer, like you guys are like, oh, we're just going on summer. Summer is the season for us. We don't call it summer. We call it like summer holidays or just school holidays. You know, anytime when you're not at school, anytime when you're not at work, that is a holiday. It doesn't have to be like Easter or Christmas or something. Just when you're not at work or school, it's called holidays. This is one of my favorite things. Okay, I know in America and stuff you call it cotton candy. Us Australians, we call it fairy floss. Is that not like 10 times better than cotton candy? Fairy floss sounds so much nicer. We also like to like combine words, abbreviate words, make them shorter. Want to becomes wanna. Going to becomes gonna. Should've becomes shoulda. Would've becomes woulda. Could've becomes coulda. Have to becomes hafta. Things like that. We just like to shorten words a lot, okay? And one more thing, we don't call it Australia. Honestly, I was not trying to offend anyone there. I don't know what sort of accent that was. I don't know. But it's not Australia. We just call it Australia, or if you want to go a little bit more bogan, Australia. Not Australia. Australia. Get it? Got it? Sweet. Just before we finish off this video, I'm not trying to say everyone says this. Maybe you've never heard some of these words before and you've lived in Australia your whole life. This is just some things that I've heard people say, that I have said myself, that is something common that people say around where I live. And I just wanted to share a bit of Australian language with you guys. My challenge for you guys now, use as many of the words that I mentioned in this video to make a sentence in the comments below, and I will read them all and probably laugh and like your comments and respond to you because I'm a good YouTuber. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already because that would make my day. I also have a main channel, the link is down below. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat. Go check it out, all the links are down below. But other than that, I guess I'll just see you guys next Saturday back here on Escape. So goodbye.